After 500 years on Earth, there will be very little water left. The only way to wash dishes is to blow on the sand to get them clean. If you want to drink water, you have to go to a filling station, like we do now for gas, and those who can't afford water can only afford to drink. The man's name was White Dove. The family couldn't afford to spend money on water. They had to eat slimy food during the day to get their daily dose of water. Pigeon's family had a piece of land but no water. The land becomes an ornament. Bai and his son, Dabai, walk for hours every day to deliver supplies to the waterworks workers to make ends meet. Bai is always trying to please the foreman, hoping that the foreman would develop the water for his family. But Bai had no money and no power. The foreman turned Bai down again, and on the way back, the donkey finally collapsed because of the chronic lack of water. Over the years, the donkey became part of the family. Bai shot the donkey and sent it off to heaven. Then Bai and his son went to town. They spent a year's savings to buy a second-hand donkey. After buying the donkey, father and son went to the water station and filled a bucket with water. But Pigeon hadn't had any water for a long time. He couldn't resist taking a sip. This sip was a day's wages. And Bai Dove's daughter Xiao Mei has recently found a boyfriend called Xiao Shuai. Xiao Shuai is always against Bai Dove. He had never respected his elders, and he came to borrow the donkey. Bai Dove rejected him outright. Bai Dove was against him being with her daughter. But Xiao Mei was upset that her father didn't see her boyfriend's donkey. She fussed and argued 3 times a day to prevent them from seeing each other. He watched the door of the house to prevent his daughter from going out. One day Bai came back to find the lock on the warehouse door cracked open. He went in and saw that the donkey had been stolen. Bai immediately thought of Xiao Shuai. Bai found Shuai's father. Xiao Shuai's father told him his son had taken a donkey to the water factory for delivery. Now Bai was sure that Shuai had stolen the donkey. Bai put on his gun and set off. He was ready to get his donkey back. When he arrived, he was knocked unconscious by the waterworks workers. White Dove wakes up from a coma by some waterworks workers pointing a knife at her. The waterworks workers said they saw Pigeon using a machine donkey to carry away their supplies, but no matter how much Pigeon explained, the workers didn't believe him. Luckily, Pigeon was not a bad fighter. He got his gun back and got away with it. The next day Pigeon finally found little Marshall. Pigeon tied him up. He was going to bring him back to the workers to clear his name, but it was a long journey. They were dehydrated, and the stolen goods were all wine and not a drop of water. At Marshall's begging, Pigeon relaxed his guard and untied Shuai. At that moment, little Marshall took advantage of White's lack of strength. He took a bite out of him and knocked him out with a stone. He poured wine into the pigeon as hard as he could, until the pigeon was poured to death. After the siblings lost their father, Xiao Shuai moved into their home. Both siblings were kept in the dark by Xiao Shuai. Afterwards, Xiao Shuai found the waterworks foreman. He took out a dagger with his name on it. He threatened the foreman to bring the water to his doorstep. If not, he would accuse the foreman of killing Bai. It just so happens that the foreman and Bai had been at odds all along. Everyone would believe Shuai's story. The foreman panicked and agreed with Shuai, and so the land was given water. In spring and autumn, the land grew green. Xiao Mei was about to become a mother. I thought the story would just go on slowly, but a bigger problem was to come. A couple of bank supporters on horseback found Xiao Shuai. White Dove owed hundreds of thousands of dollars during his lifetime. Now he wants to take the land to cover the debt. But the duck is going to fly and Marshall doesn't agree. In order to pay the debt, Marshall had a bad idea. He lied to his best friend. He wanted to sell his friend's child, but the traffickers killed them. His best friend died at gunpoint. He almost escaped with his life. However, the robot donkey's system collapsed when the bullet hit him. It started a self-return process. He limped back to the workshop. The workshop repaired the donkey. He called Pigeon's son, Dabai, but Dabai discovered by accident. The robot donkey's eyes are cameras. He can see everything he sees. Dabai saw every bit of his father's life. A long-awaited smile appears on his face. But as the video plays, Dabai saw his brother-in-law, Xiao Shuai, murdering his father, but he was heartbroken. Dabai returned home and didn't tell his sister what had happened. A series of revenge plans were hatched in his mind. First, he wrote a letter to Xiao Shuai in the name of Xiao Shuai's friend. He wrote a letter to Xiao Shuai, lying that he was still alive. He asked Shuai to bring some water and food for relief. Sure enough, Xiao Shuai arrived at the appointed place, but he stepped into the trap set by the Great White. At that moment, the Great White appeared with a cold face. Little Marshall looked at the stone in Great White's hand. He knew that the truth had been revealed. He begged for forgiveness, but he did not care. He raised his gun and took him away. After finishing Xiao Shuai, Dabai deleted all the footage from the machine in order to bury the truth. He deleted all the footage from the machine. He never spoke of it again. Great White decided to take on the family. Eventually the fertile land brought prosperity to both siblings, and the sister always thought Xiao Shuai had left her family without saying goodbye. As time passed, Xiao Mei, she accepted his departure. She and her brother lived a quiet life together.